Bit of a chilly start to the weekend here. It's actually a double header around this weekend. So plenty of a derby to get through. Skaters are already on the track. They're ready to go. Big shout out to the folks watching along at home that might be taking the feed. Thanks to Beardcast for that. Very special warm welcome to all those watching along at home. Wish you were here though. So that rolling whistle means we are 30 seconds away from a start in this game. So we get this one underway. It is at 6-9 Corky jamming for South Sea up against 1-9 Spags jamming for the Nerdy Dragons. Getting on through, picking up lead jammer very, very quickly. It is Corky. This pack now slowly coming down off the main straightaway into turn number 1. Nerdy Dragons looking to do some defensive work. Corky having none of it. Gets through nicely to the inside part of turn number 1. Not to be outdone, the Spag also getting through the pack as well. But Corky's seen enough and calls it off. Nice start there for South Seas, picking up 8 points. Nerdy Dragons yet to open their account. (5-1) jamming for South Seas, of course. That is Pepper up against 1-0 jamming for the Nerdy Dragons. KTKO. Both jammers, pardon me, getting through the pack nice and quickly. Lead jammer is on Pepper and South Seas, but Pepper calling that one off, and rightly so. KTKO hot on the heels. Just the 4 points in for South Seas. They move along to 12. Nerdy Dragons have opened up their account. They've picked up the single point. .357 Magnum then jamming for South Seas up against Keza Kaboom. Jamming for the Nerdy Dragons. Both jammers in the early part of this jam finding it a bit tricky to get on through the pack as the pack comes now into turn number 1. Out front, just the 2 blockers to negotiate. Keza Kaboom really pushing, trying to get on through, and successfully so, picking up lead jammer. It is Keza Kaboom. Oh, big hit there, taken to the inside part of the back straightaway. That one hurt, I think. So just a correction on that. It's actually Keza Kapow, not Keza Kaboom. I do apologise there, Kez. .130 jamming for South Seas. Bruiser up against 1-9 Spag jamming for Nerdy Dragons. Nicely done. Bruiser off of turn number 1 gets on through. Lead jammer South Sea. We're just going to have a little bit of a break here. We have a skater that's unfortunately taken to the track. So whilst we've got a bit of a break here in play while the medics attend to the skater that's unfortunately sustained an injury of sorts, and we must thank the medics that come to each and every round of statewide stampede to keep all our skaters safe, so we do appreciate them being here this weekend, as we do all our referees and officials. We thank you so much for giving up your time so we can all go derby. Technology is a wonderful thing, and out in the middle of the track we have Hawkeye with Hawkeye. It's a camera on top of a camera, and it gives us a live coverage. It's almost like having a roaming Brian or something like that, for those folks playing footy. The technology we have available for statewide stampede is next level, and we thank Hawkeye again for not only the photos that we will see pop up on socials later on after this weekend, but the fact that we have a live camera that can give us an insight into derby that's probably not otherwise available, as we see that skater making their own way off the track under their own steam, which is obviously a good thing. So we're not too far away then from a resumption in play, as indicated then by that rolling whistle. We're about 30 seconds or so away. Five, 4, 2, then it is Goofy jamming for South Seas up against 1-0. KTKO jamming for the Nerdy Dragons. That whistle gets this one back underway, trying to find a way through on the middle of the track, and successfully so is Goofy then for South Sea. Nicely done. KTKO with a bit of work to do on the main straightaway, as the pack now slowly coming into turn number 1. KT just recycled to the midpoint part of the main straightaway. Meanwhile, Goofy getting on through. It's 4 points being added to the South Sea total. Nicely done there by Goofy. It's an 8-point jam there by Goofy, moving South Seas along to 22. The Nerdy Dragons still stuck on just that single 1 point. Two jammers in, 9-5, Keswick Power jamming for the Nerdy Dragons. Up against 6-9, Corky jamming for South Seas. Nicely done to the inside part of turn 1. Corky gets on through, lead jammer for South Sea. Pack now coming off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Unfortunately for Keswick Power, it is a forearms penalty. Power jam then for South Sea. Working the lines nicely on the outside part of turn 3, getting through nice there on that previous pass is Corky. There's a pack now slowly coming into turn number 3. Nerdy Dragons defense trying everything they can to hold up Corky for as long as they can. Nicely done then by Corky. A little bit of backward skating thrown in for good measure on that previous pass. It's another 4 points in for South Sea. Nerdy Dragons defense in turn number 3, trying to hold up Corky for as long as possible. 9-5, Keswick Power returning to the track now, and immediately met solidly by the South Seas defense. And just trying to find a way through, trying to work the outside part of... Unfortunately for Keswick Power, it is a cut track. So it's another power jam then for South Sea. It's not phasing Corky too much. before that one was called off. Corgi adding a handy 13 points then for South Seas. And they're just moving along very nicely. 35 plays, 1. Power jam start then for South Seas, 5-1. That's Pepper. And wasting no time getting on through. Pepper, lead jammer, South Sea. As Pack now comes through turn number 2, making the way down to the back straightaway. Nice bit of defensive work there by 7-8. Vivian Oblivion on Pepper. And again, Vivian Oblivion just holding Pepper up momentarily. Pepper found a nice line to the mid part of turns 3 and 4 on that previous pass. Again, the Pack coming through now into turn number 3. Oh, a bit of a tumble there from Pepper off of turn number 4 whilst calling it. That's a skill in itself. .357 Magnum for South Sea on the jammer start line. Number 10 KTKO for the Nerdy Dragons, the other jammer on the jammer start line. As we get this one underway. Trying to work the centre of the track and successfully so, getting on through. That's Magnum for South Sea. Got the Jets well and truly alight, wasting no time getting the initial pass done. And a bit of a hit it and quit it there for Magnum, getting the 4 points, then calling it off. .1208 Smackaron jamming for the Nerdy Dragons. And 130, that's Bruiser jamming for South Seas as we get this one underway. Nice bit of toe-sot work by Bruiser there to the outside part of the main straightaway. Bruiser, lead jammer, South Seas. Bruiser taken back to turn number 4. Nice bit of defensive work there by the Nerdy Dragons, but Bruiser more than up for the challenge. Nicely done on the outside part of turn 1 there. Bruiser gets through, 4 points, South Seas. And again, getting through and adding 4 more points to South Seas is, of course, Bruiser. Pack now coming through turn number 2. Blocker advantage clearly going the way of South Seas at the moment. Unfortunately for 12.08, Smackaron picking up a penalty there. So it is a power jam then for South Sea. Nice bit of defensive work then from 9-0. That's Psycho taking Bruiser to the outside part of turn 4. So now it's Bruiser sitting a penalty in the penalty box. Meanwhile, all that was going on, Smackaron being released from the penalty box, back on track. And immediately met by Griffin. As this one comes to an end. And Bruiser picking up 15 points to add to the growing South Seas total. They move along to 62. Nerdy Dragons still with just the 1 point. We've got around 18 minutes remaining in this first half. First game, day one of 2 days of action here. As we get this one underway, 9-5 Keza Kapow jamming for Nerdy Dragons. (5-4-2) Goofy. It is then jamming for South Sea. Unfortunately for Goofy though, a cut track has been assessed, so it's a penalty then for South. So it's a power jam now and a good opportunity for Keza Kapow and the Nerdy Dragons to add to their 1 point. Oh, big hit then from 3-3. That's Titosaurus on Keza Kapow to the outside part of turn number 2. And Keza Kapow with plenty to think about coming down the back straightaway. Number 2 there, Harmon Miranda, doing what Harmon Miranda does very, very well, and that is block and give you nothing. Nice hit then from Titosaurus then on Keza Kapow. As the penalty box now is clear, we have a full complement of skaters on track. Oh, it's a big hit there. Number 5. Yeah, it's Calamity June. Giving Goofy something to think about on that previous pass. Didn't face Goofy too much though. 4 points been added. And again, a nice hit from Harmon Miranda then on the now recognised jammer after the successful start pass. That's Dolly, the recognised jammer now for Nerdy Dragons. Meanwhile, up front, it is Goofy getting on through and picking up 4 more points as this one now comes to an end. Nerdy Dragons pick up 3 points in that previous jam. They move along now to 5. South Seas on 74. So we have 5-1 Pepper jamming for South Seas, 1-0 KTKO jamming for Nerdy Dragons. Unfortunately though for KT, it is a cut track. As Pepper then the sole jammer on the track, power jam then for South Seas. Pepper wasting no time getting on through, lead jammer. As the pack now slowly coming through turns 1 and 2 onto the back straight. Oh, nice little turn there from Pepper to the inside part of turn number 2. And picking up 4 points. Pack now just recycling a little bit back into turn number 1. As KTKO, also some fancy footwork there from KT, just getting on through nicely off of turn number 1 and 2. And Pepper's seen enough and called it off before KT can add to the scoreboard. .357 then jamming for South Seas, that is Magnum. 12.08 jamming for the Nerdy Dragons, of course, is Smackaron. Out front though, wasting no time, getting on through. 357 Magnum is your lead jammer. Smackaron then just trying to find a way through to the inside part of turn 1, not going to happen. Magnum gets through nicely off of turn number 2. With the pack now making its way down the back straightaway. Nerdy Dragons defense there, trying to hold up. Oh, nice hit then from 818 Dolly, taking Magnum to the outside part of turn 3. All good day, everyone's giving high fives, so all's well that ends well. For someone who may have ordered a ham and cheese toastie, your toastie's ready. You want to go outside and pick it up? That'd be great. As we get this one underway, 1-3-0, then jamming for South Sea. It is Bruiser. And I can't quite make out the jammer then for... of course, it is 1-8-1. Cunning Linguist, unfortunately, picking up an early penalty, so it is a power jam then for Bruiser and Southsea. As the pack slowly comes down the back straightaway, and the Southsea's defence so strong. If they're not holding up jammers, the Southsea defence, they're going to make life very difficult. As 06 Bambi is putting on a bit of a display, just making a mess of the Nerdy Dragons blockers. And South Seas blockers again giving Cunning Linguist plenty to think about. Number 2, Harmon Miranda, probably one of the better blockers going around, been playing this game for a while now. Also 8-6 Bambi there for Bon Jovi rather. And 06 Bambi, they're all out there. And they're giving Cunning Linguist plenty to think about right here on turn number 3. Of course, I'm speaking of the South Seas defence. Very hard to get past. As the pack now slowly comes through turns 3 into turn number 4. KTKO taking a bit of a slide, nearly taking out one of the refs on the outside there. So with that 10 points, South Seas move along to 99. Unfortunately for the Nerdy Dragons, not picking up any points in that previous jam, they still remain on 5. And we've got just about 10 minutes remaining in this first half. So we then have number 9-5, Keza Kapow jamming for Nerdy Dragons. It's a power jam start for the Nerdy Dragons, so hopefully they can get through, maybe pick up lead jammer. 1-3-0 returning to the track, Bruiser, after picking up a penalty in that previous jam. Trying to find some real estate on the outside part of turn number 2. Not going to happen. 8-1-8 Dolly bringing on the defence there. Holding up Bruiser for as long as possible, but getting on through lead jammer. It is Bruiser for Southsea. Meanwhile, back in the middle part of turns 1 and 2, Keza Kapow having a tough old time trying to get through this insanely strong South Seas defence. Meanwhile, Bruiser just skates on past, picking up another 4 points. Keza Kapow also eventually getting through the pack. So just a 6 points then for South Seas in that previous jam. Takes them over the 100 mark, 105 playing 5. So we have Goofy then 5-4-2 jamming for South Seas up against 9-0 Psycho jamming for the Nerdy Dragons. Goofy wastes no time getting on through nicely off of turn number 1. Lead jammer South Seas. As the pack now coming into turn number 3. Oh, a bit of a tumble there from a few skaters here. Psycho and Maple Slam. Big shout out and thank you to the Arc here in Daylesford for again allowing us to come in and do Derby. It's the second time we've been here this year. So we really do thank them and appreciate their support. 1-0 KTKO jamming for Nerdy Dragons. 5-1 Pepper jamming for South Seas as we get this one underway. Nice recycle then on KTKO, taking KT almost back to the midpoint of the main straightaway. But getting on through nicely there is Pepper. Number 5-1 for South Sea, Lee Jammer. Oh, a bit of a tumble here. Nice hit from Pepper. If we could have a member of the medics on the track, please. We're going to take a short break. We might even have some music whilst we have this skater attended to. Welcome back, everybody, especially the folks taking this feed online at home. The skaters are back on track, and we're just about ready to get a resumption in this first half game between South Seas and Nerdy Dragons. 357 then jamming for South Seas. It is Magnum. 12:08 jamming for the Nerdy Dragons is Smackaron. Working nicely to the mid part of the track and picking up lead jammer. It is Magnum. As the pack then comes through, or slowly coming into turn number 1. Nerdy Dragons defense trying to hold up Magnum for as long as possible, but finding some real estate to the inside part of turn number 2 sees Magnum through 4 more points then for South Sea. Number 90 then is Psycho. The jammer for Nerdy Dragons. We've got just a tick on 5.5 minutes remaining in this first half game between South Sea Roller Derby and the Nerdy Dragons. 818 jamming then for the Nerdy Dragons. It is Dolly. Nicely done, wasting no time. Lead jammer going the way of Dolly and the Nerdy Dragons. And of course, jamming for South Seas, number 130, Bruiser. Nerdy Dragons defense trying everything they can to hold up Bruiser, but no, big hit then from KTKO to Bruiser to the outside of turn 4. That was felt. Bruiser then recycled back into turn number 3, gives a shake of the head, and Bruiser's ready to go. Meanwhile, 818 Dolly getting on through, picking up some points, much needed points. And not before picking up a cut track penalty then, unfortunately, for Dolly. Bruiser also picking up a cut track. So both jammers in the box. That's going to release Dolly back out onto the track. So it's now a power jam for the Nerdy Dragons. Good opportunity for Dolly to pick up some points, and wasting no time doing just that. It is 4 more points being added to the Nerdy Dragons. As the pack now comes through into turn number 3, taken nicely to the outside part. Dolly, 4 more points. Nerdy Dragons. Whilst all that was going on, Bruiser being released back out onto the track. That's a very handy 20 points for Dolly and the Nerdy Dragons. And a very warm round of applause indeed. Nerdy Dragons then move along to 25 with South Seas on 1:16 with 3 minutes remaining. We have our first official review. I will endeavour to go through that official timeout when we get a hot minute. That whistle means we're back underway. 9-5 Kessica Power jamming for the Nerdy Dragons. And of course then it is Goofy 5-4-2 jamming for South Sea Roller Derby. Wasting no time, Goofy picking up lead jammer as the pack slowly making its way down the main straightaway. Kessica Power with plenty of work to do. Goofy wasting no time, 4 points will be added to the South Sea total as the pack now comes through turn number 1. Nice bit of defensive work there by Vivian Oblivion on that previous pass on Goofy, but Goofy more than up for the challenge. There's a pack now coming down the back straightaway, pretty much at the midpoint of the back straightaway. Kessica Power has plenty of work to do. This South Seas defence is absolutely relentless in their pressure. Goofy 5-4-2, 4 more points. South Seas there's a pack now spread between turns 3 and 4, probably more so into turn number 3 now. They've got a little bit of speed about them. And again, the South Seas defence just giving absolutely nothing to smack her on there as this one's been called. A very handy 24-point jam there for South Sea. Moves them along to 140. The Nerdy Dragons on 25. $3-5-1 Magnum jamming for South Sea. 9-0 Psycho jamming for the Nerdy Dragons. Nice move to the outside part of turn 2. Sees Magnum, your lead jammer. There's a pack coming through turn number 2. Psycho with plenty to think about coming down the midpoint of the back straightaway. Nicely done though, gets on through. Trying to find a way to the outside part of the back straightaway. Magnum not quite there. 8-1-8 Dolly giving up some beautiful defense, but Magnum more than up for the challenge. Sees a way through to the outside part of turns 3 and 4 on that previous pass. And it's another 4 points then for South Sea. There's a pack now coming off of turn number 4 onto the main straightaway. Very much stretched out. 8-1-8 Dolly trying to hold up Magnum there on that previous pass, but Magnum more than willing to take that challenge on and gets on through. And Magnum again slicing through the pack to the outside part of turn 2 on that previous pass. It's 4 more points. There's a pack making its way into turn number 3. A couple of skaters take a bit of a tumble to the inside part of turn number 3. As that jam then comes to an end. So that rolling whistle then means we are at the half-time break between South Seas and the Nerdy Dragons. South Seas on 155 after a 15-point jam. Nerdy Dragons picking up the 4 points. They move along now to 29. We're going to take a short-ish break, and we'll be right back with the second half game between South Seas and the Nerdy Dragons. And it's a very warm welcome back to everybody. Hope everyone's been able to get outside and grab a coffee and a toastie, or a coffee and a toastie. And we get the second half action back underway. 1-0 skating then, or jamming rather, for the Nerdy Dragons. KTKO. 6-9 jamming for South Seas, of course, Corgi. Nice hit, recycling Corgi almost back deep into turn number 4. And meanwhile, out front, KTKO wasting no time, getting on through, picking up lead jammer for Nerdy Dragons. As the pack now coming through turns number 1 and 2. Hit it and quit it was the order there for KTKO, picking up the points and calling it off. Just a 2 then, adding to their halftime total, moving them along. And them, of course, is the Nerdy Dragons on 31. South Sea still on 155, yet to add to their halftime total. .357 Magnum jamming for South Seas. 9.5 Keza Kapow jamming for the Nerdy Dragons. As the pack slowly coming through the main shadow. Now a little bit of speed entering into turn number 1. And just the one blocker to get through. Magnum, lead jammer, South Sea. Keza Kapow just knocked to the inside part of turn 1, recycled back almost onto the main straightaway as the pack then again just slowly coming through the top end of the track, or through turns 1 and 2. Just the 2 blockers then for Keza Kapow to negotiate, and does so nicely. Nerdy Dragons defense then trying everything they can to hold up Magnum. Magnum having none of it, gets on through. It's 4 more points in for South Sea. Midway point rather of the back straightaway, Keza Kapow trying to get through this very, very strong South Seas defense. Number 2, Harmer Miranda's in amongst all that. 515 Lemon Squeezy also a part of that as well. Meanwhile, whilst all that was going on, Magnum picking up 4 more points on that previous pass. 818 Dolly is now the recognised jammer after a successful star pass for the Nerdy Dragons. The initial pass is done. It's 4 more points in for Dolly and the Nerdy Dragons as the pack now coming down the front straightaway. As this one is, this one's in the books. It is 12 points then for South Seas on that previous jam, moving them along to 167. And a handy 9 points there for the Nerdy Dragons. They move along to 40. .130 then, Bruiser jamming for South Seas. 9-0 Psycho jamming for the Nerdy Dragons. Nicely done to the inside part of turn number 1. Lead jammer, Bruiser. Oh, some fancy footwork to the outside part of turn 1. Bruiser got a bit of a smile too to boot. Nicely done. 4 more points for South Seas. Psycho then also getting through the pack then eventually. Bruiser's just having a bit of a look around, seeing where the other jammer is, seeing what the pack are doing as a pack then coming through turn number 1. No real sort of speed to speak of. Doesn't phase Bruiser too much. Nicely done. Inside part, turn number 2 gets on through. And it's yet another 4 points being added to the South Seas total. Psycho then with plenty to think about coming through turn number 2 for the Nerdy Dragons. As I've said so many times already this morning, this relentless pressure that South Seas bring defensively is a joy to watch. As the pack now comes down the back straight away, the Nerdy Dragons are going to try and hold up Bruiser for as long as possible. But some real estate on offer and taken by Bruiser to the outside part of turn number 3. Means 4 more points being added to South Seas total. 12:08, smacker on, nice defensive work there. Recycling Bruiser all the way back to turns 1 and 2. As this one is all done and dusted. So a very nice 23-point jam then from Bruiser, moving South Seas along to 190. Nerdy Dragons just picking up the 3 points, currently on 43. (5-4-2) Goofy jamming for South Seas. 1-0 KTKO jamming for the Nerdy Dragons. Unfortunately though for KT, picking up a cut track. Doesn't faze Goofy too much, getting on through. Lead jammer South Seas. As the pack now comes down the far end of the track through turns 1 and 2. Nerdy Dragons defense trying to stop Goofy, but Goofy having none of it. The offense then too by the South Seas blockers was pretty darn handy. Nerdy Dragons defense then going to work on Goofy, trying to hold up that jammer, but getting on through. 4 points then being added. Whilst all that was going on, KTKO has been released from the penalty box back out on track. KTKO wasting no time trying to negotiate through this South Seas defense. Trying to get on through, and successfully so. Plenty of skaters in the penalty box. The blocker advantage is evened out, 3 apiece. Power jam though for South Sea. Unfortunately for KTKO, another penalty to be sat. Not facing Goofy too much, 4 more points being added. Uh, 12 points in fact then for Goofy. With that 12 points, South Seas jump over the 200 mark, 202. Nerdy Dragons picking up just the 2 points, moving them along to 45. So we then have 6-9 Corky jamming for South Seas. It's a power jam start, and it's also lead jammer going the way of Corky. And that happened really, really fast, which is synonymous with Corky. A very quick jam and waste no time, generally getting through the pack to try and pick up lead jammer. 1-0 KTKO has been released out of the penalty box, back on track, and immediately is being met by the South Seas blockers, who are still giving KT plenty to think about down in turn 1 and 2. Not facing Corky too much. 4 points on that previous pass. Some backward skating then off of turn number 2. It's another 4 points for Corky. Unfortunately for Corky, it's a back block, which means a power jam then for KTKO and the Nerdy Dragons. Nice bit of defense in by 2-2. That's Griffin jamming, blocking rather, for South Seas, just taking KTKO to the inside part of turn number 1. And 3 blockers apiece then for both teams, as Corgi released out of the penalty box straight on track and straight away picking up points. Uh, 16 points in fact, moving South Seas along to 218 and 45, thanks Hawkeye. 45 points then for the Nerdy Dragons. Got just on 19 minutes remaining in this Day 1 action, first game. Statewide Stampede, rounds 5 and 6. We get this one underway, 12:08. Smacker on, jamming for the Nerdy Dragons. 357, Magnum jamming for South Sea. Unfortunately, though, for Smacker on, it's a cut track. So that means it's going to be a power jam then for Magnum and South Sea, with the pack now coming through turn number 2. A couple of skaters taking a bit of a tumble there. Nerdy Dragons defense coming into turn number 3, doing a nice job. Not before Bambi, number 06 for South Seas, decided to come in and make a mess of things, allowing Magnum to get on through. Harmon, Miranda, Bambi, Moody, 3 of the strongest blockers going around. They really do make life very, very difficult for the jammer. 12:08, Smacker on, being released back onto the track. And straight away is going to be met by this South Seas defense. Not to be outdone out front of the pack, the Nerdy Dragons defense giving 357 Magnum plenty to think about, as the pack slowly coming through turns 3 and 4 rather. Nice hit from Harmon Miranda, recycling Smacker on back into turn number 3. Trying to find some room rather on the outside part of turn 4 for Smacker on, not going to happen. Meanwhile, out the front of the pack, 357 Magnum, just the 2 blockers to negotiate. But the Nerdy Dragons more than up for the challenge. Nicely done by the Nerdy Dragons defense there, holding Magnum up. Holding Magnum just to the 4 points. Correction, made that 8 points. You should wait, JR, and just make sure everything's all sorted out before you make any comment. With that 8 points, South Seas then move along to 226. 45 then for the Nerdy Dragons. (181), a Cunning Linguist, the jammer for the Nerdy Dragons. 130, Bruiser, the jamming for South Seas. Bruiser currently out the front of the pack, just trying to negotiate through the last 2 Nerdy Dragons blockers, does so successfully. Lead jammer, Bruiser and South Sea. Cunning Linguist with a bit of work to do, coming through turn number 2. Bruiser getting on through, 4 more points. As the pack now comes down through the back straight away. Nerdy Dragons defense doing a pretty good job holding up Bruiser. But Bruiser more than up to the task of being able to find a way through, and successfully so on that previous pass. Nicely done to the inside part of turn 3. Outside part of turn 3, I should say. Bruiser, 4 more points, South Sea. Pat coming through turns 3 and 4 now. Number 2, Griffin, putting on some nice O there, just breaking apart the Nerdy Dragons defense to allow Bruiser to get through. But Bruiser taken to the outside part of turn 4 by 7-8 Oblivion. And Bruiser's seen enough. So, of course, we are here this weekend. It's a doubleheader, rounds 5 and 6 of the statewide Stampede. This is game 1. Up next on track, it is TVC taking on VRDL KCR. Should be a good game. So the whistle means let's get it on. 5-4-2, Goofy then jamming for South Sea. 9-5, Kesika Power jamming for the Nerdy Dragons. Well, nicely done there from the inside part of turn number 2. 5-4-2, Goofy, lead jammer, South Sea. It's power jam then for Goofy. Not realising that Kesika Power had picked up a penalty. Back on track now, so both jammers out on track. And the blocker advantage going the way of South Sea. As the pack now coming through turn number 3. Nicely done. Goofy to the inside part of turn 3. Gets on through, 4 points. And Goofy's seen enough and called it off. Not before adding 12 points to South Sea's total. And moving along quite nicely. South Sea's on 253. The Nerdy Dragons on 45. And we've got just on 12 and a half minutes remaining in this first game. 8-1-8, Dolly then jamming for the Nerdy Dragons. 3-5-7, Magnum jamming for South Seas. Both jammers trying to find a way, working the seams nicely. Magnum looking to the inside part of turn number 1, not going to happen. 3-5-7, Magnum getting on through, picking up lead jammer. 1-7-5, Rogue trying to chase down Dolly, but Dolly having none of it. So neither jammer picking up any points on that previous jam. Or as we like to call it in roller derby, donuts. So we have then on the jammer start line 1-0 KTKO, 6-9 Corky. And as Corky does so often, wastes no time getting on through lead jammer South Sea. As the pack now comes through turn number 1. A little bit of a spin then from Corky to the inside part of turn 2. It's 4 points. Big hit then, 5-1-5. Lemon squeezy. That was on KTKO. And that one hurt. I think we have 2 skaters down, and with that we're going to take a little bit of a break while the medics get on track, and we'll sort this one out and we'll be back with you shortly. Okay, so we've got that little injury timeout all sorted. So all the skaters are then back on track, all the refs and officials ready to go. Jam timer says we've got 5 seconds. And that whistle means we are a go. 12:08. Smacker on jamming for the Nerdy Dragons. Up against 130 Bruiser. Whoa, trying to find some balance there. Getting on through Lee Jammer. It is Bruiser and South Sea Roller Derby. Nicely done to the outside part of turn 1. Bruiser 4 points. Smacker on them with a bit of work to do as the pack slowly comes off of the main straightaway into turn number 1. Both teams defensively trying to do as much as they can. Bit of fancy footwork there from Bruiser on the previous pass off of turn 2. Nicely done inside there for Bruiser, previous pass. It's another 4 points. So the star pass then successfully completed for the Nerdy Dragons. 9-5 Kesika Powell is the recognised jammer. Kesika Powell has plenty of work to do. The recycle is back into the main straightaway. That's not phasing Bruiser too much. 4 points. Turning into a nice jam then for Bruiser and Southsea. Pack still at the top end of the track, up near turns 1 and 2. As this one then comes to an end, not before Bruiser for Southseas, putting on 24 points. Southseas on 283, Nerdy Dragons on 47. And we've got 8.5 minutes remaining in this first game. Doubleheader weekend, rounds 5 and 6 for the statewide Stampede 2022. That whistle means let's go. 8-1-8 Dolly then jamming for the Nerdy Dragons. Bit of a stack up of skaters there on the main straightaway. And it looks like Goofy jamming then for South Street. Nicely done there for Dolly, getting on through Lee Jammer. And not to be outdone, also Goofy getting on through the pack. And it's going to be a hit it and quit it there for Dolly. And both jammers picking up 2 points. $285, South Seas 49, Nerdy Dragons. $1-0 KTKO jamming for the Nerdy Dragons, and 6-9 Corky jamming for South Seas. And as so often has happened in this game and in any game you see Corky jamming, it is Lee Jammer, South Seas. Such a beautiful skater to watch in full flight. Number 6-9 Corky, of course. KTKO with a bit of work to do. Coming through turn number 1. South Seas defence giving KT plenty to think about. 175 there, that's Rogue. Doing rogue things, making life very difficult for jammers. Bonnie Jovi in amongst it as well. It's another 4 points then for Corky. Being added to the South Seas total. Coming down the back straightaway now, just the one blocker to get through. Nicely done, Corky. Trying to find some room to the inside part of turn 1 and 2. There, Corky being shut down. KTKO still with a bit of work to do at the back of the pack. Bambi 06, 86 Bonnie Jovi, 175 Rogue. These blockers are absolutely formidable. 175 Rogue with the chase down. Not going to work quite this time. As this one then comes to an end. Very nice 23-point jam there for Corky. Moving them along to 308. Small block V8 engine for those mechanics that might be tuning in. 49 then for the Nerdy Dragons. Got about 4 3/4 minutes remaining in this game. 357 Magnum jamming for South Seas. And it's 818 Dolly jamming for the Nerdy Dragons. Wasting no time though, Magnum picking up lead jammer as the pack is slowly negotiating its way through turns 1 and 2. Not facing Magnum too much. Nicely done to the outside part of turn 2. 4 points for Magnum. The initial pass then done for Dolly. It's all about trying to get some points now. As the pack comes through turn number 4. Working the lines nicely to the inside part of turn 4. Dolly. And 4 points for the Nerdy Dragons. Not to be outdone, Magnum also picking up 4 points on that previous pass. As the pack now comes down into turn number 1. Nicely done there, rather. Dolly, 4 points, Nerdy Dragons. And Magnum's seen enough. Picking up 11 points then, Magnum for South Seas, moving them along to a 319. 8 points in, Dolly and the Nerdy Dragons. Currently on 57, 3 minutes remaining. .1208 smacker on jamming for the Nerdy Dragons, pardon me. 130 Bruiser jamming for South Seas. Both jammers trying to find some room to the outside part of the main straightaway. It's not going to work. Pack now comes through turn number 1. And it's Bruiser picking up lead jammer. And slicing through the pack to the inside part of turns 1 and 2. Bruiser 4 points, South Sea. 175 Rogue with the recycle on 1208. Smacker on almost back to the midpoint part of the main straightaway. That's not facing Bruiser too much. It's 4 more points in for Bruiser and South Sea. The recycle for South Sea after taking 1208. Smacker on to the inside part. Number 8-2, that's Maple Slam for South Sea. With that recycle, Smacker on back on track. Meanwhile, 130 Bruiser just putting points on at will. Went from the outside of turn 1 to the inside of turn 2 to try and find some real estate. That worked. 4 points in for Bruiser. Gets through nicely. Pack then still stuck at the far end of the track on turn 1 and 2. Four more points from Bruiser on that previous pass. Some Fancy toe salt work off of turn 2 there from Bruiser. Nice jam. 24 points, Bruiser for Southsea. Moving them along to 343. And Nerdy Dragons they remain on 57. We're down to the last 30 seconds. We are going to get one more jam in. .542 then. Goofy jamming for South Seas. Number 5 jamming for the Nerdy Dragons, of course, is Calamity June. It is Goofy then, lead jammer, South Seas, in complete control of this game now, and they have seen enough and called it off. So we do have an unofficial score of 343 v 57. The referees are just going to confirm that all T's were crossed, I's were dotted before we get the rolling whistle, which will officially bring this one to an end. Of course, up on track next, we have TVC up against VRDL KCR. So that rolling whistle means this one is in the books. It's all done and dusted. South Seas taking the win, 343 over the Nerdy Dragons, 57. I'm not sure if the skaters are going to do a victory lap or not. They probably will. Both teams now still in their huddles, thanking each other, congratulating each other. So some of the skaters for the next game making their way to the side of the track. We invite anyone to come on down track side and offer up a high five to the skaters. There's a couple of people making their way down. Oh, should I go? Well, no, okay, yeah, I'll go. Or maybe I won't. They're going to have photos first. Okay. Maybe after the photos, both teams can have a bit of a skate around. Some fans are waiting trackside. Whilst the two teams in front of the scoreboard having a photo opportunity, good opportunity to announce who it is we've just seen on track. We're going to start with the winning team, South Seas. Number 130 Bruiser, 06 Bambi, 175 Rogue. Number 2 Harmon Miranda. Number 22 Griffin, 24 Chaos. Number 33 Titosaurus, 357 Magnum. 360 Mary Extreme, 4 Tenacious T. Number 5 Moody, 51 Pepper. 515 Lemon Squeezy, 542 Goofy. 86 Bonnie Jovi. On the Nerdy Dragons, we have number 10 KTKO, 1208 Smackaron, 16 Rage, 181 Cunning Linguist, number 19 Spag, 1 6 Hurl Scout, 77 Crackerjack, 78 Vivian, 818 Dolly, 86 Razorback, 9095 the Kapow. The two teams there. And congratulations again to South Seas. Well done to both teams. Thank you to all our refs and